Good morning. Thank you guys for joining us. My name is Becky Howery. I am the Elementary Health and Physical Education Specialist.
Good morning. My name is Kruk. I am the High School Health and Physical Education and Driver Ed Specialist.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mignano. I am the Middle School Health and Physical Education Specialist.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Carrie Reynolds. I am the coordinator for K-12 health, physical education and family life education.
So good morning again, everyone. This is Mignano also. Again, I am the Health and Physical Education Middle School Specialist, and I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. I'd like to take a moment to review today's agenda with you. So in today's presentation, we're going to be exploring the K-12 health and physical education programs. We will discuss student and also teacher expectations while engaging in health and physical education, as well as provide you with a snapshot of what a traditional school year looks like in health and physical education, and also discuss the adaptations that were made this school year during these unprecedented times. We'll also discuss ways that you can support your child's success in health and physical education. And lastly, we will have a question and answer session at the end of the presentation to review any lingering thoughts or questions you may have about our health and physical education program. So I encourage you to write down any questions you may have and bring forward during the question and answer section. The purpose of health and physical education is for students to develop health and physical education literacy knowledge and skills to become healthy decision makers throughout their lives. By the end of grade 10, health and physical education students will be able to plan for their own health and wellness, understand the importance of managing emotional and social needs, and become proficient movers that value engaging in lifelong activity. The Health and Physical Education program is a Virginia Department of Education course for all students from grades K through 10. Students engage in appropriate learning lessons, activities, and assessments that align with the Virginia Department of Education standards of learning for both health and physical education. In grades 11 and 12, students can expand their learning of health and physical education and wellness for a lifetime through elective courses such as Advanced Physical Education 1 and 2, Yoga for Wellness, Personal Fitness 1 and 2, and Sports Medicine. We've also linked the Health and Physical Education Virginia Department of Education standards in this slide presentation for your reference if you would like to go through them on your own. In health and physical education, students will engage in learning opportunities that connect to the following topic areas. In physical education, these topics are motor skill development, anatomical basis of movement, fitness planning, social development, and energy balance. In health education, the topics are body systems, nutrition, physical health, disease prevention and health promotion, substance abuse prevention, safety and injury prevention, mental wellness and social emotional skills, violence prevention, and community and environmental health. I would now like to turn it over to Becky Howery, our elementary school specialist.
So how can we help our students engage in physical education? First and foremost, we want them to be prepared to participate in activity. Physical education is supposed to be fun. We want them to come dressed in clothes that they can move around in, that they have tennis shoes on, so that they can really get the most out of their health and PE classes. We want them to learn through movement. We know that students are able to connect to information more when they are creating opportunities to move and have fun. So we really want them to build those connections naturally with things that they love to do. We want them to focus on their skill development, from learning how to throw a ball all the way to utilizing those proficiency skills of throwing in games and activities as they move into middle and high school. But we don't want them focusing on the score of the game. We want them to focus on how do they apply all of those skills that they've learned through elementary school. And what we want our teachers to do is to ensure their students have a safe and inclusive learning environment where they can come and have fun and feel confident in being able to learn a new skill and apply it in a new way. We want our teachers to align their instruction to our standards of learning so that we're learning things like nutrition. We're learning about how to create physical, to learn how to create action plans so that we can continue to work on our fitness. We want our teachers to meet the needs of all of our students, whether it's making modifications to our skills or making things more challenging for them so that we can extend their learning. And then we certainly want to provide students with choice. It could be as simple as kindergarten being able to choose between a yarn ball or a beanbag while they're learning how to throw. We want to make sure our students have the best possible opportunities to be successful. So what does physical education look like? This year obviously was new and different for us. We had to pare down our curriculum in order to focus on what we felt students really needed, which was developing those social and emotional skills. So in order to do that, we presented a combined health and PE curriculum at all grade levels. We definitely had limited space and equipment available to us. So our teachers, I'm sure as you saw with your own students, had to really be creative this year in how we can continue to move and learn our content given all of the parameters that we had to endure. In a normal year, we do focus on learning through movement and building those proficiency in skill development for things like throwing and catching. But if you saw this year, we didn't do a ton of that. We're looking forward to being able to go back to that in the near future. But we want you also to recognize that health and physical education are two different content levels. They're taught normally as individual contents at all levels. And when we do return to a traditional school year, we are looking forward to returning to that robust content and access to those materials that provide our students with authentic learning opportunities. We wanted to also give you the opportunity to see what PE looks like and what health looks like during what you might have seen this year, as well as what you can look forward to seeing in years to come. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Overwhelming response, 11 to 1 to 1. Anyone go out and volunteer and say why they picked angry? Do we have any virtual volunteers? Last call. Want to make sure you guys get to talk too. All right, William, go ahead. Okay, now you're done. And make a circle with him. Watch this down and whether or not you're at home or in person, thank you so much for participating today. I thought you guys did an excellent job identifying feelings, and that is a building block on how we show empathy to other people and for how we get along with others, which is where we're moving next week. So, if you are at home, 2 minutes? Okay, if you're at home, take a 2-minute break while your friends in person walk back to class. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next Thursday. You guys like that shit?
And now we'd like to show you what you might see in a traditional physical education class. So that was just a quick snapshot of what you might be seeing in your physical education classes, either currently or what we hope that you will continue to see as we move back to a more traditional health and physical education program. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Katie.
Thank you, Becky. Next, we'd like to share with you how you can support your child's success in health and physical education. And first, we always like to suggest to start their day with a healthy breakfast. This encourages them to make healthy choices, but also fuels them and gives them energy for the day when we're preparing them for physical activity. It's important to encourage your child to be prepared for activity during physical education, not only with breakfast, but with proper footwear and being dressed for activity on PE days. And last, if you preview the curriculum, then you'll be able to engage in conversations about their learning and inquire about upcoming assignments and assessments so that you can stay involved in the learning process as they go through school. Another way that we'd like to encourage you to help your students make healthy choices, and an easy way to remember it, is the zip code to your health, which is 95210. That's 9 hours of sleep, 5 fruits and vegetables, 2 hours of screen time beyond school, 1 hour of physical activity, and 0 sugary beverages. Focusing on how you can help your child have 9 hours of sleep, setting a regular bedtime routine with a consistent bedtime, encouraging them to turn off electronics at least 30 to 60 minutes ahead of time, incorporating calming activities like reading a book, listening to music, or stretching. And you can include brushing teeth, taking a bath or shower, just to create that environment that allows their bodies to calm down before bed. And keep in mind that when your child is physically active during the day, it helps prepare their body for sleep. So we highly encourage the activity so they're getting the best sleep that they can. Looking at number 5 in the health zip code for health is fruits and vegetables. It's important to include your child in the meal and snack planning process, allowing them to help you create the grocery list, incorporate them in the planning so that they can choose things that you know that they will eat, but you can also encourage the healthy choices. Selecting a variety of fruits and vegetables, or introducing a new fruit or vegetable each week, keeps their diet varied, but also introduces new things so they can choose new favorites. Including fruits and vegetables with each meal or as snacks. And if you keep in mind to keep at least half the plate of fruits and vegetables, you'll know that they are getting the recommended amounts and servings. And now I'm going to turn over to Carrie Reynolds to complete the 95210.
Right, so continuing on, up to 2 hours of screen time. And I know this one has been challenging this year since so much of what your students are doing is virtual, especially if they have not returned to school. But we really are talking about that screen time beyond what's being done for school and is purposeful and geared towards your students' learning and development. So the recommendation is for no more than 2 hours of screen time. And we're talking about television, using the computer for personal use, such as playing video games or watching YouTube or connecting with others through social media as your students get a little bit older. Phone use, video games that might be played on a separate device as opposed to on the computer. So there's different ways that you can try to limit that. Of course, turning the screens off and doing something else. And to help with that, most of you said you had elementary students this year. Hopefully your teachers have been providing your students with choice boards of activities that they could do on asynchronous learning days or certainly throughout the month. And you could continue to use those even after this year or create your own of activities that your family finds interesting. When your students are using the screens, making sure that they're engaged in something that's age appropriate. I know I have children, it's hard to always monitor what they're doing, but certainly there are times where things catch my attention and we have to turn that off and look for something different. And using the parental controls to help monitor and limit usage. My oldest son is out of high school now, but when he was in high school, we changed our router so we could actually cut the internet service at a time that we thought he needed to turn it off and go to bed because he wasn't developing that self-control on his own. So that was something that worked for us and maybe will work for you as well. And then the 1 is for 1 hour, at least 1 hour of physical activity per day. And there are so many different things that you and your child can do to engage in physical activity. Some of your kids may already be getting an hour of physical activity. Maybe they enjoy playing outside and they do that often, or they're involved in a sport or activity that keeps them active. But there's also things that you could do together as a family. You could choose to walk or bike or go hiking. You can plan family activities that include activity, maybe going bowling or mini golfing, or as we're moving towards summer, maybe you have a community pool that you belong to and you can go swimming. Encourage your child to do physical activity before screen time. Once they turn on the screen, sometimes it's difficult to get them interested in something else. So if you ensure that activity first, and then they can have the screen time after. We definitely encourage students, if at all possible, to bike, walk, or roll, ride scooters. Students who are in wheelchairs can roll to school or home from school. And sometimes we have families that live in areas where they're too far away from the school to bike or walk, or maybe it's not a safe area. One thing we encourage is to see if there is a place where you could park and walk the rest of the way to school. So maybe you drive part way, and then you can walk the last half mile or quarter mile or whatever it is that there's a sidewalk and it's safe for you to do so, to encourage some activity before school. And we do know that there is a connection to student success and achievement and having physical activity. So if we can get some of that in at the beginning of the day, students tend to be more successful. And I must say, May is Bike to School month, or biking month. So getting out there and riding those bikes if you have them. We have Bike to School Day coming up. Some of your schools may be involved in that as well. You might be a family that enjoys playing sports. Maybe you have a basketball hoop in your yard, or there's outdoor space where you can kick a soccer ball around or throw a baseball, play volleyball, and that will also help reinforce some of the skills your child may be learning in physical education. And then just going to do outdoor activities, a park or a playground where students can run around, they can play. We're getting to a point where it's becoming more safe for us to go back out and do these things. So hopefully those might be opportunities that are available to you. And then the last one, 0 sugary drinks. And I always think that this might be the most challenging one. So certainly we encourage drinking water. You know, our bodies need water. You've probably heard you should drink 8 glasses of water a day, which is a guideline that you might want to use. Sometimes you need to look for those hidden sugars in drinks. Things like juice and sports drinks often contain a lot of sugar that have been added, so looking for those things. As an alternative, if you don't like plain water, you could think about flavoring your water with fruit or other natural ingredients, or even buying flavored water or the sparkling water. Some people enjoy that. And encouraging drinking milk or drinking water over juice. So certainly there are other ideas. Hopefully these were things to get you started in thinking of things that you and your child could do together, or you can encourage for your child to help make those healthy decisions and lead a healthy lifestyle in your family. And we also wanted to talk a little bit about supporting your child's social emotional needs. This has definitely been a focus of our school division this year, especially as we moved into virtual learning and kids were disconnected from school and their peers in ways that they haven't been before. And hopefully you've heard some about this either from your child's teacher or information that has come home from your school. So what you see on your screen, the icon comes from an organization called CASTLE. And in the center, the pie pieces, the orange, green, and yellow, are the different competencies that have been identified as essential for students to develop good social emotional learning. So what we've put in the bullets, and there are so many different things that you can do to support these different areas. Again, we've just been able to put a few ideas in here to help support these different competencies. And hopefully you see in the chat, I posted a link to the CASTLE framework if you're interested in learning more about it, and some additional ideas and skills to develop and help your students learn to have good social emotional health. And social emotional health is something that continues to develop throughout our life. Even us as adults can look at areas where we might be a little bit stronger and areas where we might have some growth that we could do, and look at ways that we can continue to develop our own social emotional health. So the first idea we have is to develop strategies to manage emotions. Certainly we all experience different emotions, and sometimes we get upset or angry or frustrated and just need some ways to calm down. So simple things like taking some deep breaths or counting to 10 or walking away from what's going on for a few moments and coming back to it can be helpful. Sometimes students have difficulty expressing their thoughts and emotions or what's bothering them verbally, but they might be willing to write it down or to draw a picture or to color. Coloring is a great way to help calm yourself down and take your mind off of what's going on. Encouraging your child to take breaks when they need it. Nobody can really focus and concentrate and keep going hour after hour, so they might need a break and doing something else that they enjoy, like listening to music or reading or maybe going outside. But to get away, take a break, and then they can come back to what they're working on. Certainly listening and talking with your child, learning about their day, trying to find out what's happening in school, what's going on with their friends, something exciting they did, something new they learned that day, or maybe even something that they found frustrating or was upsetting to them. so they know that you're listening and that they can come to you and talk to you. Helping students learn how to balance daily activities and tasks. This isn't so difficult. I don't think at the elementary level, as the parent, you often have some control over what your child is involved in and what their day looks like. But as they get older and they develop more interests and they want to be involved in different activities and do things with their friends, and they have to balance schoolwork as well, that becomes more challenging. And of course, there's only so many hours in a day. So being intentional and helping your child identify what things they have to do and then how they can fill in the other time with the things that they want to do and the things that they enjoy as well. And of course, we always come back to physical activity as being important for our self-management, having relationships with others, encouraging responsibility and decision-making. Those things can all be learned through engaging in different types of activity, especially when they're engaging with their peers. And encouraging them just to engage with friends. Right now, some of that engagement may be on social media, and there has been some evidence that that is beneficial if they're engaging positively with others online. But hopefully we're also getting opportunities either now if your child's returned to school or in the near future, and looking ahead to next year, that our students will have more interaction during the day in school with their friends as well. So that brings us to the end of the information that we have to share with you. So at this point, we would take questions and answers.
One question is, what can parents do if their children are reluctant to go outside and exercise?
I think for me, it's making it a family activity. You know, when my children were younger, they really did enjoy when I would go outside and just toss a Frisbee with them, or throw a ball or take a walk. So I think making it more of a family opportunity encourages them. And we as adults can set, you know, an example and model what we want them to do. So I think that's one way of doing it.
I would also add creating a routine of when you're going to go outside. So maybe it's after school, whether it's when they're done with school virtually or they come home for their day. Maybe there's a time to go outside, or taking a family walk together after dinner. Something that they know is kind of the expectation and encourages them to go outside. It may also be just finding something your child is interested in outside. My youngest son, we've tried every sport, we've tried all kinds of things, and finally we found that he really likes to ride his bike, so that's what he's willing to go out and do, and it's not the team sports or other activities.
I would add one more tip. I have young kids, a 3 and a 5-year-old, and they apparently melt in the heat, but we make sure in the summer to dress them appropriately, have cold water bottles, go out early in the morning, and we can get more outside time if it's not in the direct sunlight, or you know, making sure that we have sunblock and things like that so that they enjoy being outside, especially in the summer.
Okay, I think that's all of our questions. So I want to thank you for joining us today, and hope everybody has, it looks like a beautiful day out. Everybody has a good afternoon. Thank you.